It's so good to know you're still there with us. We are going to continue from where we stopped last week on effective communication with Ayegboka Saheed Kunle. Good to have you here, sir.
The feeling is mutual.
Amazing. So, sir, what are the components of communication?
Well, communication is a very wide topic, and communication has been divided upon a statistics and also two research that were done by Albert Marabian.
Okay.
And according to him, is of the opinion, no, he has validated the opinion to research that communication is divided into three. We are basically into two, but we can now divide them into three later.
Okay.
And the two are verbal components of communication and non-verbal components of communication.
Okay.
So under non-verbal components of communication, it is there we have body language and tone of voice. So we have verbal communication, we have tone of voice, then we have body language. And there is this popular model by Albert Maraban, is a professor of communication, that the verbal communication, the words that come out of our mouths, only contribute 7% to communication.
Oh.
And 38% of communication comes from the tone of our voice, while 55% of communication comes from body language. So this is extremely important for whoever is communicating, that you can't just focus on the words coming out of your mouth.
Yeah.
You should focus more on your body language.
Okay.
If your body language contradicts what is coming from your mouth, don't just say, but I told him to leave. Probably you shouted. That is your tone of voice. Probably you said leave with so much hatred in your face. So you can't just say, but I told him to leave. No, you did not say this way the other time. You communicated something else. So if 93% contradicts 7, why won't that person get angry at you?
That's true.
So for leaders, for managers, for those who are going to communicate, they need to understand that 7% of communication is verbal.
Okay.
38% of communication is your tone of voice, and 55% is your body language. So when you want to speak with your wife, when you want to speak with people that you like with love, there is a way your tone of voice speaks to them, and your body language also speaks to them, that everything matches, so you're able to communicate effectively. That is where effective communication comes in. So you can't be an expert in communication without understanding that verbal communication only constitutes 7%, non-verbal communication constitutes 93%. And that 93% is divided 38% for tone of voice and 55% for your body language. So until we understand this, and when we want to speak, we take cognizance first of our body language, second of our tone of voice, then third about the words that will come out of our mouth. Until you match this, you are not communicating effectively.
Amazing. So now, verbal communication, if someone says, someone is watching us out there, he's hearing verbal communication for the first time, can you help us explain?
Well, verbal communication are the words you hear from my mouth. Oral communication. Communication is largely divided into two. Textual communication and oral communication. So textual communication is what you write.
Okay.
Why oral communication is what comes out of your mouth. That is the verbal communication. It's majorly pronounced as verbal, but in English language, most words that ends in AL, the A is usually silent. That is why we say legal. That is why we say principle. That is why we say oral. That is why we say verbal.
Amazing. So how about body language?
Okay. Body language, like I said, constitutes 93% of communication. So a part of it is not a part we'll go in depth today, which is tone of voice, that constitute 38%. So we leave tone of voice by the side, we come to body language. Body language is divided into 4 to 5 components. The first component, and one of the most important, is facial expression. Our face speaks. So the second one is your posture. The third one is your body movement. The fourth one we'll be examining today is eye contact. So one needs to take cognizance of these 4 if you want to get your 55% of communication. So I start with the first one, facial expression. According to psychologists, our face can exude more than 10,000 meanings. There's a way I look at you and I show love. There's a way I look at you, I show happiness. There's a way I look at you, I show that I am paranoid. There's a way I look at you, I show fulmination, I show hatred. There's a way I look at you, I show hostility. So your facial expression alone, you can't say, for example, I love you. That person knows you don't love him. So your facial expression contradicts what you are saying.
Yeah.
And it becomes clear that the facial expression wins over what you are saying. So when you want to say something, your face here must also say that particular thing. Until that, you are not communicating effectively. If you want to show to somebody that you want to discipline, and that is why when we discipline our children, we should not frown at them. You don't discipline for hatred. You discipline your children because you want them to get better. So you can punish them and not frown your face. You can punish them and they know that it's because you love them that you are punishing them, not because you hate them. So they say our dad smiles anytime he's punishing us. It's not that he's enjoying the punishment, but he knows that if you keep on doing this thing, you might get destroyed. So he's punishing you so that you can avoid that destruction. That is why when you go to the dentist, and dentist, if dentist wants to treat, they have this very long injection with which they treat. It is extremely painful. But dentists will keep on smiling. All the time you are crying, but they are smiling. Why? Because they want to avoid a greater damage. So they communicate with their face that we are not your enemy, we are just trying to help you. So at all times, we should know that facial expression is one of the key components of body language when communicating to people. So you can communicate hostility, you can communicate I do not care attitude, indifference, and all these things. So whatever you want to communicate, if you want to communicate with love, communicate with love, communicate with happiness, communicate with whatever. So the words of your mouth should match your facial expression. That is the first component. The second component under body language is your posture. When you stand in front of somebody and you do like this, what that shows is you are boring. So you can be saying, I'm listening, you are saying it very well. But your posture shows boredom. So the way you stand, some people, when I don't want to stand up, when you want to speak in front of people and your legs are like this behind a stage, your legs are like this and your neck, probably you are looking down. It shows incompetence. It shows lack of confidence. But when you stand and your legs are straight and your heads are high up like this, it shows strength. It shows knowledge. It shows you know what you are doing. It shows confidence. So you can't be telling people your legs are like this, you are like this, and you're saying, I'm an expert. No. You might be an expert in the real sense, but what is coming out of your mouth with your posture, they are contradictory. So the two needs to work together for you to be effectively communicating. So it's extremely important that we take this. So that is for posture. If we still have time, I will still come back to it. The third one is body movement. Some people make the mistake in public speaking where probably they are using a podium, they stand behind a podium, but their legs keep walking all the time. It shows you are timid.
Really?
Yes, if you want to move, you move. If you want to stand, you stand. You don't start raising your legs while talking to people. It's lack of professionalism. So in your body movements, you can move completely or you stay in one place, you remain static. Because sometimes movement distracts your audience from listening. So everything has guidelines in communication. In body movement, for example, I've been talking, you use your hands. When you want to count number, you can do like this, do like this, do like this. People understand what you are saying better. When you want to tell them about a story, you open your heart to them. You do a lot of body gestures like that. It aids your communication. So your face is already speaking to them. Your posture is speaking what your mouth is also saying. Now your body language is also, your body movement is also giving out the same thing you want to say. Your communication is becoming effective. So the way you now move, the way you talk, the happiness on your face or the sadness on your face, if you are talking, if you are speaking at a place somebody just died, you are not supposed to be happy.
That's
so
true.
if you are saying you are concerned, you need to look melancholy. You need to look a bit pitiable.
Yeah.
You need to look empathetic. Now, so you can't be there. You go to a place where somebody just died, and you are saying, this person that died, it's painful. It's very painful.
Doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense because your body now is saying something, and your mouth is saying something else.
That's true.
Your mouth is saying what it should say, but your body is saying, your facial expression, the remaining 93% is saying something else. So your communication is not effective. So for your information to be effective, if you need to cry, cry. That is a place where people cry. If you need to look down, if you need to look very sad, you look very sad, you look melancholy, so people see that, in truth, this person can see things from the place where we are seeing things. And the last component under body language is eye contact.
Okay.
If you are speaking to a very large audience, and this one I'll give us a simple technique on this. If you are looking at if you are looking at an audience and you are looking down, you can't look into their faces. Everybody knows how we feel about that. We feel that this person is not confident. He does not know what he's doing. He does not know what to say. So, but also in communication, you don't look straight into people's eyes. It makes people uncomfortable. So you navigate you know, when you are speaking, if you want to look at this way, you just look at people's eyebrow. You just look at it. You don't focus on one person, except if you are sure that that person is comfortable with you looking at that person. So you just take a glance at people. It shows you are confident. You are not scared of them. You also you take a glance at people here. It shows you are confident. You are not scared of them. You are actually teaching them. You also look in this way. It shows that. And like I said, when we were taking the session on glossophobia, your audience wants you to succeed. That's why you should not be scared of them. They are there to learn from you. Why should you be scared of them? They are there because they think you will make an impact in their life. We don't want to waste our time, so we've come to listen to you so that we can learn. So those are the 4 components of body language that makes it 93% of communication. I was taking a course on communication with one university outside the country at the time, and part of the question was, what is the contribution of verbal communication to communication? I saw 7, I saw 38, I saw 55, but I've never studied this model.
Okay.
I never thought it could be 7. I thought it would be probably at least 38 because I already knew that verbal communication is not that effective alone. I got the question wrong. So since that day, I studied the Albert Marabian model, and I saw the validation from the research that it only constitutes 7% of communication.
Amazing. I mean, it has been a lovely time. We could stay here and talk and talk and talk, and I'm sure my viewers heard you and they have learned too. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you very much.
It has been an amazing time. For the past few minutes, I have been speaking with Ayegboka Saheed Kunle, and he has been telling us communication as an effective tool in human interaction. Please stay there. We'll be back in a minute. Good morning, Abuja continues.